Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you how to make Hiro from the movie Big Hero 6. For size reference, Hiro is sitting on a cake with 6-inch diameter. So I'm starting with the head first and I'm using gum paste. With the ball tool, make 2 indents where the eyes will go. Then I use my finger to smooth it outwards, so it creates a bit of a bone cheeks underneath. Then I'm using the veining tool to push the fondant out to make a nose. Then with the smaller end of the ball tool, push the fondant upwards to make it look like he's smiling. Okay, and right now I'm just using my fingers to smooth the frame of his face. You can start creating the shape of his head and his jaw. Okay, and once you're happy with how his face looks, use an X-Acto knife and carve in his smile. And with the veining tool, you can make a line above and below the cut from the X-Acto knife to make it look like he has lips. Now with a thin piece of white fondant, I'm cutting out the shape of his eyes. You can use a circle cutter to make a round edge. And throughout this video, I'm applying water with a brush to glue the pieces together. Okay, and for the pupil, I'm using a very small amount of brown fondant. Cut it in half, then with the same amount of pressure, press down with your fingers so they are the same size. And I'm going to do the same thing again with an even smaller amount of black fondant. I'm using the end of my X-Acto knife to press down. And now glue them both onto his eyes. After you place them onto the eyes, check how they look. Are they looking at opposite directions, or are they staring at his own nose? If you want Hiro to be looking at another figurine you're making, you can glue his pupils on when he's on the cake. Roll out very thin black fondant for the top outline of his eyes and his eyebrows. You can use fondant or white food coloring and add 2 dots at the corner of his pupils. I'm only giving him one ear because the other one will be covered with his hair. Okay, and now I'm gonna make his body. At the top, make a dent for his neck. Then I'm poking a long barbecue skewer through so later on I can attach his head. Now set the pieces aside and let them dry for at least 2 hours. For the shoes, you'll need 2 small clumps of purple fondant. Start shaping them and then cut the front tip off on both shoes. Using white fondant, roll out an oval and cut this in half. Attach both pieces to the shoes. This will be the front of his sneakers. Okay, and now wrap the bottom of his shoes with a thin white strip. To make the flap of his sneakers, make purple and white squares. And then with thin yellow strips, I'm adding on the shoelaces. stick a toothpick in each of them so they can be attached to the cake later. For the legs, I'm letting them dry on a styrofoam block. If you don't have one, you can use a jar or a can. Roll out a long piece of brown fondant and fold it in half, then let them hang over the edge. Trim them to equal lengths. With the veining tool, you can make creases at the back of his knees. You can also add more details by creating lines on the side of his pants and stitching pattern on it as well. Okay, and I'm gonna add 2 pockets on the sides. For the jacket, roll out blue fondant. I like to wrap it around the body as if it's really wearing a jacket. For his hood, cut out a moon shape and tuck in the edges. Glue this onto his shoulders. And I'm gonna make some creases on the jacket. I'm also adding 2 pockets on his hoodie. Cut out 2 rectangles and cut off the corner on both of them. Okay, and now we're gonna assemble Hiro together. For the arms, use the same blue and roll out 2 long pieces. Make a bend at the elbow and add crease marks. And for his legs, roll out 2 very small pieces and attach it to the center of his pants. And now you can add on his shoes. For his hands, I start off with an oval and I bend it to create the knuckles, so it should look like the roof of a house. I then cut 3 lines for the fingers and I cut out a small triangular shape for the thumb. Use your finger to shape the tip of the fingers. For the hair, I'm using black fondant and rolling out strands. For the bottom of his chair, roll out 2 small pieces and make jagged cuts. Okay, and now I'm gluing on the hands. Hiro's hair has a lot of volume, so add a bit of fondant on top first, then add the 2 small pieces you made on the bottom on both sides. With the strands you already made, start gluing them onto his head. And that's it, the Hiro figurine is done. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Tell me what you think by leaving comments below and don't forget to subscribe.